precious human life is so important. Firstly, we have to know that we said that precious human life, why it is precious. In the jewel ornament which composed by Gampopa, one of the great teachers of Kagyu lineage, he gave there's a true reason because the human life is precious. One thing is that it's difficult to achieve. Secondly, it is once you achieve the precious human life, so that's very beneficial. So that's he gives true reason. In the point of how it is difficult to achieve the human beings, so there's three things. In order to achieve human being, so without cause and condition, we cannot achieve our human being. So we have to accumulate lots of cause and condition in order to born as a human being. So there he said that the three causes in order to be born in the human life. The cause is in order to born as a human life, you have to have a practice of moral discipline. That's the first cause. The moral discipline is not necessary you become a monk and nuns. Usually when we're talking about the moral disciplines or the rules, when we're talking about the rules, it actually is more likely is related to the monks and nuns rules, but nothing to do with that. Generally speaking, is that is when we're talking about the moral discipline that's the kind of abandon the 10 non-virtue, and also we try to practice the 10 virtue. So which is quite, I think everybody no need to explain. The 3 from the body, 3 4 from the speech, and 3 from the mind. So altogether there's a 10 non-virtue. So we have to accumulate not killing, not stealing, and this kind of activity. So therefore, in order to achieve the precious human life, so we have to practice the moral discipline. So which refers to the 10 virtue. So that's quite clear. Okay, that's one thing. And then the second one is that Molam number of Samjara in Tibetan. Molam number of Samjara means you have to do in order to born as a human life, you have to do certain kind of wishing prayer. You see, the wishing prayer is actually very, very important, especially when you visit to certain holy places, such as like Bodh Gaya and Varanasi and where Buddha Shakyamuni or many other Indian Mahasira or many other Latin beings where they've been for years and years. So because those places are something very special place because they're blessed by those special Latin beings. So when you visit to the holy places, I think the wishing prayer is so important. So there are many, actually, there are many kind of the practitioner who are really, there are many stories in the earliest time. The practitioner who practice whole life proper way, and at the end of the death, due to the wrong wishing prayer, so it become a kind of like demon or spirit or ghost, or so they could not liberate from the samsara due to the wrong wishing prayer. So therefore, wishing prayer is so important. So whenever you visit to certain the places, generally, actually, it says that when you wake up in the morning, or when still you are alive, so you have to do even you cannot follow the kind of daily the practices. Yeah, you can do just only not necessary in order to do wishing prayer. Of course, there are kind of Samanda Batra wishing prayer. There are many thousand, I think the thousand wishing prayer. You don't necessarily to follow those texts. If you could follow and if you do according to the wishing prayer of certain text, that is quite fine. If you cannot do certain things, but the most important things in the Buddhism is our mind. So therefore, in Tibetan word for Buddhism, we call Nangpa. Nangpa. Tibetan we call the Buddhism is Nangpa. In English we call Buddhism, but Tibetan we call Nangpa. Nangpa. So Nangpa means, Nang means actually, Nang means inside. Chi means out. Nang means actually inside, we call the Nang. Because the Buddhism is talking about the most things, the inner mind. Yeah? So the Hinduism, mainly they talk about the physical body practices. So if you practice, you see therefore the many Hindus practitioners, they go to Ganga river. So they believe that if you wash there, you purify all your negative deeds, whatever you've done in the past life. So, you know, I mean, of course it doesn't mean that there is no practice of it does not mean there is no practice of purification by the body level in the Buddhism, but there